in that team.
He should never have started.
Never.
On the background of a one game, my under 21 game of that magnitude.
You know, I've always I don't like the situation where could a certain team and you know you've got so much influence and every player know coach, national team coach, anoswera Koko. What is all that? Nakamba, he hasn't played. My fans, they spoke about this. How do they call this guy? He hasn't even played the game in 2 seasons. And you trust
He
him.
hasn't even played. He hasn't even started a game for League One Luton.
Imagine, and you start him for game
genuinely.
That is either Rushisha and Pano Finland.
9 was an energy. Nakamba definitely was a no for this game.
Fitness, fit a bora pika. This is the thing, and you know we have, and also problem. Also we have. You see, this is what I'm always saying. Mama platforms they bora. Could every Jack and Jill who now has a smartphone and wants to talk about soccer, wants to talk about football, wants to say Ningi, you know, because some kids randomly said Dino was not. You cannot talk about stuff like that, you know. And then I was saying I just passed a comment. I passed a comment on Facebook and posted by You've won something Magunda, whatever her name is. And then I said, Jikanzi, well, which is your coach? Which is your coach? The facts do not lie. Nakamba hasn't played in 2 seasons. He hasn't featured in 2 seasons. And you trust this guy with the anchor position Yenyika in such a crucial game. Hello, look, we might not be coaches, but what the Bora will tell you, Kuti, at some point, match fitness will come into play. Competitiveness will come into play.
He was struggling to get to people.
He was.
He was struggling. He was taking time. By the time I know Munayenda and then he commits a foul. Lack of match fitness. Coaches really say.
How are you feeling?
Hello, there boys. I'm good. That's my mind. Just about 3 hours ago from hospital. I'm good. I'm all right though. I'm good. Yeah.
Nice.
Still a bit of pain, but trying to.
Pain is French bread.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
What's your take?
Say my legends.
Well,
bless.
But I have to take morphine at the moment because I understand that Tombotangwa antibiotic and Dufanotora, you see. So but I saw enough to to have an idea on what's what. And I heard you guys talking about the fitness issue. Yeah, I think I mentioned that in Dangopindurangu briefly, because in what I try to do when the game is being played, I don't want to jump the gun by going after the player, even though I understand where you're coming from, and I knew, but maybe sometimes, like I mentioned, the issue adrenaline. Yeah. I'll give you a good example. If you remember, Rio Ferdinand was banned for 8 months from playing, and as soon as he was available to play, he was brought back in first game like Avatambisco as well, and he played really well. But you could see that he's been out, for a while. But he played really well. The difference as well is that you can dupe people into looking like you are up there with everyone, but there is precise moments in the game when you're caught out. And again, as you're just saying it now, let's just say I'm playing, because unfortunately for Nakamba, I played that position, for a long time. So I understand that to a naked eye or to people who don't really know the positional sense of the game, they can think kuti but Arimo, block up. I just say it's been there for 90 minutes. Of course I can play 90 minutes because you've got the brain to manage your fitness in 90 minutes. But you heard the word that I used, manage. Yeah. You don't do everything that you're supposed to do. Because now what happens is, let's just say, maybe you can have a very good 30 minutes, and then the other 45 minutes you'll be costing. Is quite not by half time. It becomes difficult to come back to speed to where you were. So maybe you can come back another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's enough for you. That's why you never see Premiership, no matter who it is, no matter how good they are, you don't see a player coming back, from that long layoff time square 70 minutes, 75 and above.
We had to tamba 8.
It just don't happen because no matter how pro you are, no matter how much you trained, as long as you're a human being, even football scientists, they say these things. I've got a friend who is one of the sports scientists called Nottingham Forest here. We've had a good chat about these things. I've had several discussions with him about issue here. Even Ronaldo, when he was at Manchester United, because I miscarriage and all that, and he started playing, and he wasn't really up to speed, and Tangones and coach Pepe. You see, so even someone who's as exceptional as Ronaldo would suffer from that.
Yeah.
And now you look at Mave. I know Mave, and Mave is a pro, but he probably doesn't look after himself as much as you expect a pro to do, because he likes the usual parting that the young lads does now. So now when you look at it, even if you haven't seen him training, hello,
welcome.
Yeah.
So even if you haven't seen him training, but like the statement
Exactly.
where you're supposed to do touch tight in a mono, you can do that, but up to a point. When you get to the 45 minutes, then to the 50, 55, now, you become a second slower to your man. And what then happens is people will see you being 1v1 on someone, but whereby if he had the fitness, probably one touch, you're onto him.
Yeah.
One touch, two touches, then you're onto him. The fact that we will allow the second touch to happen, that is bought him time. Tena put in a pass, wherever he wants to. But from someone you don't have auna mubora. It's a money fine margins, yeah. And I know you guys, some of you have seen him even kanarema buza bora arisia and bora kafana na chinosiana ma levels fitness
levels,
skill and talent nekuti vamwe vanotraina more than others, but
exactly.
So what we did today, what the manager did, and someone who criticize a manager today, because in those with me being a football manager as well, I know how difficult it is. But I'll be honest with you, sometimes things have got to be said. This manager has given me so many doubts about way I approach my games, the way I approach my players, the way I approach selection yake, and I think today for Mave, that's one thing that even is a coach. I'm setting up myself to fail, because guess what?
Exactly.
If you have a defensive bench, unless there's a fan who's a fool, they're going to have a go at you for not starting Mave.
Right.
You would understand, but you know what? As much as Mave can be good, okay, as pedigree through Kutamba Kwaita, but for today, I can understand why you didn't start him. Sakanga pressure you. The moment you put him into that team, you're giving yourself pressure now. Yaguti at deliver, and when everyone knows Guti is not fit. So he created a problem for himself, and that gamble did not work. But I understand when managers gamble. The biggest problem is when you gamble and you don't rectify it. And you don't rectify it, or you don't rectify it quickly. And he failed
quickly enough.
And he failed.
This is why I was saying he shouldn't have come back for half time. He had seen, we all had seen enough by half time. He's not match fit. He's not closing people down quickly enough. Obviously, after that, Mavi, Ndago replace now we will also tank next game to build up my minutes up. But he clearly had other ideas on Mr. Nees.
First half, like if you noticed, first half, there were three things that I saw. Ndambona knowledge adzokera futi kumashure achinokava somewhere. Achirewa akadzokera no cover. That alone, like Mushi has just said, it shows you kuti Manayo, Manayo, the guy who's supposed to be, the grafter, is not up to level your fitness to be doing the grafting. He's not level at the grafting. So as a coach, remember that it is, in as much as we say, okay, marvelous this, marvelous that, we all know marvelous has been injured and there's a long layoff. He's just come back and he hasn't played competitively. So it doesn't matter whether, what team you play for. your level, the competitiveness. You see, Bora, we all know, Bora, the more you play, the more you compete, the more your level stays up there. And if you don't, it comes down. That's why my players are end up second reserve team. They have problems. That was you know, because level ya keeps rising because of the competition around them. So this guy, for 2 seasons, he hasn't played competitive. He's only played 1 game in under 21. And this is a national team, and you call him up and then you give him the responsibility. Dayapambana Rushesha or these other kids who Finland. You know, just tell him, look, Pinda, like Mushi said, people when we Bora would understand. People who won't understand, when we know they won't understand. It's okay. We forgive them. But this game, Boga, I don't know whether they was hoping you win and then say, I was justified to done some marvelous. But we've lost, and the chances for Educa, we've even gone deeper in this inning. South Africa win at 3-0. These guys have just won. We've just gone deeper. So and now and the second issue, substitution, you're looking for goals. The goals are not coming. The guys you have on the field, that try as work with, it's just not coming. You need to start making changes. Mushi, I was saying to someone, whatever he's done with football, but it gets to a point where one more Pep and 4-0, I change his style because he's that stubborn, because in his mind he feels he should go right and quit. You understand what I'm trying to say, Kuti? Bora as a manager, if you're 1-0 draw and I'm looking for 3 points, I need points. You change your formation. I'm going for the kill. There's no because the time offense is the best form of defense. I'm going for the kill. These guys don't even have time to get into the groove here, Bora, to make a difference. But Andaka Garapa bench is just there. The next thing, this guy got Achapa press conference sitting next to ZIFA president, or I don't know who else, these guys around him. And he'll justify this. He justifies this. And he'll tell you, and people say we're improving. We are not, you see, to eating solids, to crawling, to getting up 1 step, 2 step, kumanya, crash, kinder, primary, grade 7, form 1. You know what I'm trying to say? You develop. You can never be on the way we're improving. When are we going to say we are there? It's not like we don't have the players. Let's face the facts. It's not like we don't have the players. We have the players. When you call players based on merit. Call the players who are playing competitively for their clubs. It doesn't matter how Tamba D2 UK, D2 Poland. Call him. He's playing competitively. Call him. Call a big pool. Whether it's very 30 and tell them, Pachaita 2-3 training trip and up. I'm going to choose 120. Don't you think you could Murira knows no guarantee team? As numbers that are BJ. Remember that time you was called the Garapa bench Scotland. He was called national team. How do you justify that? But when I see a player, I'll tell you who to be player. Jalai is the player. But to keep Jalai at that level where he's always functioning well, he needs to have competition national team. Moons Raymond switch from another team. It forces him to stay at that top-notch level. But if you don't, Jalai won't see the need to improve. He knows someone is going to be ahead of this guy. This is what I know. Tichikura, this is what I know from under 18. Chaka Kushiga, they'll tell you position uyo. Because when I first got there, Edzai was there. He was just before he got promoted to the first team. I tell you, the shock I got was not even Pachanga could warm up, man around. Munwese was so psyched up, but doesn't I realize, Panapaka, I told the Panapama. When I got home, I told my older brother, because he used to play Division 1. Akanditi, you need to start running. It's a road run. So that when you get there, level, Purple Friday period was like, I'm telling you, Chaiti about every Tuesday. That about training. That's what Manchirara. But you see, I'll tell you why. This is even now at this age, I still play. It's because of what Friday did to me then. Fitness, quite manual. But all I'm saying is, you need to be kept on your toes by someone who's also functioning well. Why take 10 minutes with Bila Tambi? Why give him 10 minutes?
Yeah.
We've got nothing to lose. I thought you got 1-0. Just go. Look, it's all or nothing. I'm taking the gamble. For 15, 20 minutes, let's go. But no, he just kept on. And then face is not cut out for this. And I don't know how you guys see it. this guy is not cut out for this.
You know, I was going to say something, but then I thought there's a number of us there. So don't
Yes.
here, Mr. Sekiwa Wambo Pindo. Then I'll answer, you know, with a few bits.
Yeah.
I don't know it's Wangani per group right now to the Wangani.
Yeah, I think so far we are just 4.
There's 4 of us, okay.
But it's live on Facebook, so probably
Okay.
some questions will come there. So
yeah,
at Facebook, put it on chat to also see it. I don't know if Ao had said anything.
Yeah.
No, he
I've
didn't.
said
I
it.
think he was having connection.
Yeah. I was
didn't hear
having
me?
problems too. But it's deflating. Yeah, from what I saw, I think I shared the video of the last preview we did with Ao, where we kind of mentioned a midfield 3 that we thought would be best in terms of match fitness and in terms of people who would be able to cover the ground, especially in the holding midfield area, which would then give a platform to the likes of Chalai to overlap or Lunga to overlap, and then to keep Maswanise and even Zemura up there. So the problem was that I think Mfana Maswanise spent most of his time in and around the right back area with Chalai tugged in close to the box because the ball was not progressing. We were constantly under pressure. From there, if you don't have a platform of building up play, then of course your attackers are not going to shine. Of course, we did have one big chance from Munashe, that early chance. I think if he had got that one, probably the game would have played in a different manner. But as you have said, Ray, I think we need people to be match fit. Probably in Nees' defense, he saw Kuti and he had Mpana Padera, who has never played at that stage. I think he's 18 or 19. Then we have Tiwonke. I'm not sure what position he's been playing, but I think at his club last season sometimes he was covering right back. So I'm not sure if he has been playing holding. I'm not sure, Kelvin, you know the exact position that he's been playing at Reading.
Who was that? Sorry, I didn't hear. Oh, Rishesha. Okay, Rishesha is more offensive. He's a more offensive player.
Okay.
But I think the thing is, like, when you bring in these players into midfield, one of the difficulties that people tend to forget as well is I know people talk about how times have changed in terms of football, and say anyone can play. But if you still can't match certain teams from a physical point of view, you might find it difficult still, to play against them. Because if you look at this side that we played against today, they were bigger than us. So by bigger than us, we have to play a way that suits us, and that way should be probably keeping the ball on the deck. And by keeping the ball on the deck, then that means we need to be very quick on the ball. By being quick on the ball, from my understanding as a footballer, not a coach, for me, I always knew that when I'm not fit, it was actually the other way around. When I'm not fit, the ball tend to stick in my feet. So my passing will not be as quick as possible. It's not crisp. Yeah. So now what's happening is, if you're having a side which is the bigger lads, and you're playing and you're trying to keep the ball to your feet, just the pressure that they're putting on you, the fitness that they have, the size that they have, they're always going to nudge you, and you're not going to be very comfortable on the ball. It's all well and good having one or two small players, but if you have a side, if you look at like our side, probably the front 4 or 5, there was not even anyone who was imposing in terms of size. So we have a side, what we know that's our deficiency in that here, but the way that we're trying to play, we're not making use of their strengths. So trying to come to the issue that you were talking about in having the right players and giving Nees, the benefit of the doubt. I'll tell you why I don't give him the benefit of the doubt. Because there's no shock to him on who ended up not being available. Yeah. It's not like players started pulling out. He selected players and then they pulled out left, right, and center. Yeah. This was his doing. These are the players that, apart from Rishesha, these are the players that he selected. And when you're selecting these players, you select them knowing where they're going to play, knowing if whoever is injured in training or prior to the game, I will always adjust it to A, B, C, D. Yeah, there didn't seem to be a plan on that. And the simple reason being that the manager, for me, and like I've said, it's things that I don't really normally like to say, but I think he's out of his depth. He's out of his depth. And there's so many things wrong with him that we could literally sleep here.
Is the coach in control of the team selection? Is he?
We are never going to know.
We can hear the politics part of it. That is not in control. But there's one thing that I know. You might not be in control of maybe certain things in bringing up the players in the squad, which is ridiculous. But once you have them in the squad and it comes to actual game, you've got the 11. Even if you have the 11, who probably 5 of them you were told these are the ones to pick. And as long as we think that it's a Zimbabwean side which should be capable of beating Benin, anything else that's going to happen on that pitch, we're not going to talk about whoever is pulling strings on you. We're going to talk about the tactics that he used on that game. Right. Let's just say he's captured. I know that word, is very familiar in Zimbabwean circles, yeah? Let's just say he's captured. If he's captured, is he captured enough, to realize that even at 0-0, we needed to make changes? Never mind 1-0, even at 0-0, because that game, we could even make changes after half an hour because we had to win it. We don't win it, we out. So that game was literally from the start, we're going to take any gamble that is needed. And it took him how long to put the first
make the changes? Yeah.
Can we then blame the people who capture him? I won't say much for now, and I'll let others say.
Yeah, during the substitutions, he's waiting for us to concede, then he makes substitutions. Because it was a stalemate at that point. The coach when Benin had already made 2 substitutions. And so he has 2 fresher players in there. But isusu hapana munhu watiri kuwest team. Tisu tatiri kupresswa, tisu tatiri kudefend. Tisu taifanira kutochinja, make substitutions first, even well before Benin yachinja. But here he waits until 83 minutes, 7 minutes, kupa new players. Vanity, what do you think they are going to do in 7 minutes? Any goal, even if they were to score. Anenge ari masanga ndo anonzi masanga iyayo yekuti hapana tactic yekuti ndichaisa munhu in 7 minutes achagoes.
Yeah, that
definitely never going to happen like that.
Yeah, that was a difficult.
Anofanira vapawo time 15, maybe 15, 20 kana pa 16, 60 minutes isa wotanga kuita machanges watoona kudhara kuti izvo hazvisi kushanda. You see, vapfana vaya Tawanda na Zemura, they were tagged in vachitraya kubatsira midfield.
Yeah.
But then, which means the slightest time atanchiona chance yekuita bhora
there's no
up
outlet.
front, vafana vaya vanenge vari tagged in, hakuna munhu aroko. Tino ndiye sara ega chasing all those balls.
Yeah.
But izvozvo coach you would assume kuti azviona and then make changes accordingly.
I think there was one time that I saw, was it in the first half, whereby Tino had to come back into the holding midfield position to collect the ball and then make the run from there up to the box. How do you expect the striker to then be able to convert the chance when he has... Yeah.
Almost at one point, like you're saying, Angarpa number 6, Jeremy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's the man who's supposed to score goals.
Pandona lineup, I was still trying to settle. Yeah. And to be honest, I said to myself, is it because I'm still, like in the Munaruru, that because
you thought it was the NSS?
That's what 11, those 11 players, that try to adjust us
to line
them up.
I
Yeah. Yeah, they show you the formation and stuff. Yeah, I couldn't understand Sona. It looked like a double pivot.
Okay, tell me something. You've got Maswanise. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got Tino. So Tino, you're saying that Tino is our back, almost like our back to goal striker.
Yeah.
You've got
Chirewa.
Maswan is on the right, but you've got Chirewa who stayed central, like, as a midfielder, and you have Mfana Ananzan. Zemura comes in there as well. So Zemura and Mchirewa wango wachitamba very close together. And then Sona na Nakamba wango wachitamba very close together. It wasn't even like a diamond, it was like a box. But then box iroroga, you probably then think, okay, if you want to go 4-4-2 mchitamba box, then at least Maswani say na Tino Rufano tamba close together. And they runs when Tino makes a run, Mugasa bottom channel to the left side, then Maswani comes in central. Tino Abudaji, right, or vice versa. Maswani is into the channel to left side, the opposition, Tino Osteajum. What it then means is, at the very least, when we get to the byline, we have at least one player in one box already, even though we need 3 or 4. But now, because Maswani is Angarku right, Tinari central, it was almost like to break a left wing, do that Tina left winger.
Mm-hmm.
The only time that we have a left winger is when the ball is forced out wide to the left. Whoever goes there is the left winger. But then that wasn't just happening on that position. It was happening now on the position it is very peculiar, which is the defensive midfield role. Because the amount of times that I saw that Mave, when he tried to advance with the ball, he didn't have the energy to get back into his position. So someone out of players we expect to be bombing forward was having to sit in there because they know that this is now the But so is that the formation from a professional point of view? Is that how we're playing now? But I forgo my position. Because like the point you made, how do you expect Tino to go or to come that deep to get the ball? But you expect Tino Yega to be the one who's expect wakunze tam box arimo. Because if Tino is coming deep, then that means one of the midfielders should be making that run kwa Tino. But because vanhu vari conserve energy, because havana mwongo wachona wekumhanya that much, vari kuyuza vanhu vane mwongo wachona to do the job for them. So literally, I don't think taipiwa ma-states panapa, I would very much be interested in seeing kuti Musona na Nakamba kuti vaita ma-kilometers mangani, because I don't think they did much.
Even completed passes,
I don't think they did.
Know.
And that's even Saturday completed passes. We're just talking about the movement because the team this is we have to match them. Are we matching them?
You were saying, right?
It's interesting. It's interesting. Moshi raised that point. You see, we're playing the guys that are just physically big. Look at Msona. Look at the two Tawandas. And those guys are small-bodied, and okay, they're small-bodied, which means my challenge is they won't be able to go. And then look at the bench. There was Padera. Okay, let's look at the physique. Takwara, we all know Takwara. Takwara is a soldier. Takwara no pinda matakos. Chino pinda chifes checha. At least Takwara is pa DM position here. Put Takwara pa DM. Put Zemura on the left. They make the triangle. Put Zemura on the left. Put Mson on the right. Put Uyimpana Chirewa pa center. Put Tinoko. Put Mashani. And so that when the ball comes, and these guys don't have to drift too much. Though Takwara is competitive, he's got the legs to carry him. He's playing competitive wherever he plays. And you keep them on the back foot. Those guys, Benin were very uncomfortable when those guys had the ball at their feet. Molast fed Marble, man. They were very uncomfortable. But we could not sustain it. Do you know why? Any ball that was coming out, Mave was not there. So it forced creativity. The being forced to Wadzoke Kuno. And then expect the same guy to attain at Zokere foot. Left wing. Because not if you could tell left wing, divine guy spins were tight because Langa Chiane Okuku. Because there was no one. Right inside, Chiro was dropped, and the Machani Sanga was
Yeah.
And then we have another issue.
On the left.
Center back. Per center back. In Nangu, I don't know how you see it. To me, Teenage Jadwe is not make sure. He is not make sure. Mushinos, player yes is taught. Always check your blind side.
Who's coming?
Even though I'm
Yeah.
they should be doing, but Iwewe always you know, I don't know how she knows. I don't coach her. You need to be scanning.
That's the word, scanning.
Spoken like a coach. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so you see, this is what I'm saying. Some of these basics, we are not expecting these falls to be done by guys who are playing, by these guys, wherever they played, wherever the experience they have. We don't expect them to be making such mistakes. And you know, like this coach, is he calling the shots per selection up? And my view is not. This guy is not. This guy who you go. I don't know. I want to find the right words. I want to be calm and find the right words. This guy, Pakuya, and it when he first came, he called my players. You could tell it's like the idea was there. You could tell the idea was there. Then he started, I don't know whatever happened, but my elections pipeline, then things started. You can tell I want to go back history a little bit. He went to the UK under the guys here, they're going to look at players to prepare for
Who's going to look for
World
players.
Cup. Guess where he ended up? He was watching under 15s play. Now, you see, as the fan, then you ask yourself, okay, so he's bringing under 15 to come and play for AFCON qualifiers in the World Cup. What is he doing there? But guess what? There's some excuse he gave. And then there are people who are, this is the problem we have also in our country. To run these narratives, to make them believable. They ran that narrative, hey, you don't understand his plans. Okay, we kept quiet. He came back. This guy came back. And then I watched him. And then 2000, okay, Premier League, you expect it now. He's playing.
Yeah.
You know, Manika Yawe, Dynamos. He's going to watch. But he never does that. The only games you find in my games in Scotland. I'm not saying anything. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying anything. But the only games that we know he's been seen attending, watching 90 minutes, my games in Scotland. Okay? Why he does that?
He said on an interview last week, he said I've been going around the country, and he even showed his Zimbabwe defensive driver's license, claiming that he goes everywhere.
It does. Did his defensive driving license show why didn't he show his schedule? His GPS diary.
I'm offering him a side. I'm offering.
Okay.
I'm trying to be balanced.
I'll come in there. Right. So I'll tell you because I went to one of the meetings. There were two meetings in the UK. I went to one of them.
Oh, you went to that one?
I was, because obviously I was invited there as the Team Zimbabwe UK manager. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and it's on record because I asked him a question. But unlike people who want to ask these people things that they want to hear, I asked him a simple question that he tried to basically BS me about why I asked that. But then I knew that question, I wish that if he had stayed 2 weeks longer, it was going to be relevant. And in fact, before I do that, I'll tell you a very brief background about why I asked that question. As someone who grew up in Zimbabwe, in Nakamba reserve team football, Black Aces, when I was 15 and 16, I played football. Nana Wilfred Mgay, to see kuti kwandabva nebhora, I played na David Mwanza eti akunopera. Paga Black Aces, yeah.
Wow.
And John Bidzo, Imano Nyauma, all those guys, we know each other well because in Andrim Fan and they attended, yeah. And then Benini Shkoro Berek Wemboti, Wombore gets a score, Wombore say, so now national team and then Vanambo Tamba local like Sunday League, Mazigu, whatnot. And but then that's when I went to Unique Select from Division 2 to go in Division 1. Then I was signed by Caps. Number Caps and again I loaned with Jets 2000. I got Zoga Caps briefly.
Did you play with Benjani ku Jets?
Benjani and Udaranga.
Okay.
Because I was at Jets in 2000. Yeah, in Premier League. Vandazo Caps briefly, Vandazo end of Sporting Lions. So I came here 2002 in Nqobile Sporting Lions. So I was a bona fide Premier League player. I understood Premier League well. Yeah. And this is why who's a issue now. And I've come and in settle quickly. Within 2 months, I had permanent residence here because Tata sort of that. So I didn't have a problem here, which is something that was difficult for people here. So ndichienda ndaifanira kuenda kumatrials eMansfield in League 2. Then the week before ndichienda kumatrials manager adzingwa basa. Then manager munywana achibva ati auda kumboona variko and blah blah blah, because I didn't have any contract or anything, I didn't. So I ended up playing in conference for a team called Okno Town. So there is my point now. I played in Premiership in Zimbabwe. When there no conference, yeah, I found it tough.
Okay, in a Premier League, I can play anyway. You know, legend, you have said something which is very deep. Yeah, continue, please.
Because it's because tine skill. And zvoishiwa skill yedu yakaipa zvoishiwa kana vanhu vePremier League vanogona kuzviona tine skill, but there is one thing chatisina, hatizive bhora. Tine skill individually. We like street jugglers. Unoza munhu juggling wekuti the professional juggler anojuggla bhora apa but haafa akatamba kana semi-professional, because it's not that
you can't.
Because when it becomes a game, it becomes a cohesive unit thing. Chekuti kufanira kutamba as a munhu wese achiunza individualism yake into a team. So that's when I started understanding. For me to then be able to prosper nekuzotamba conference and other leagues and the ondanda kukuro anyway, I had to change the way that I played. But the most important thing is the one thing that I always say about Zimbabwean football, and this is where people when I'm telling you from experience. I'm not telling you from what I had. I'm telling you from my experience.
Wow. That's very deep, legend.
Because the coaching and Zimbabwe, it was pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and the FA. That's when we played 11v11.
Yes. And
Friday,
like for team.
Ndakakwara knee, ndine problem ye knee. Kana ndiri kutamba musi Saturday. Ndikasakwanisa kuita frog jumping. Saka ndikaita frog jumping here. That means ndakukwadza knee yangu. I'm not going to be ready for what? For the game.
For the match
because
anyway.
It was one size fits all. Papa
There's no specialized training.
You know what? He's our key player. Got a training yake irufana an individual program yakati until Thursday or Friday for him to be ready for the game. But the only way I see one coach for you to be ready for the game, you must be able to do what everyone else is doing. So there's so many flaws with our game. So now with that, toya now kunekuti why ndiri kutaura kudaro yaunoti ndo sort of ceiling yekuti you won't go below in terms of finding players more England. Ideally, I expect any country yatinoenda kuti the top level of football more or even the second.
No, one. League 2.
That means if someone is playing in Finland, he can be in the Zimbabwean national team, but someone who's in League 2 cannot play more the Zimbabwean national team. So that's where you see Guti thinking actually behind the thing is really ridiculous. And I'll give you an example on what I said to him about that as well, because that was interesting. Question, when I say things
before you
League 1 is too low a league for our players. Maybe 1 or 2. Did it? When he said that,
maybe 1 or 2.
Chirewa was playing for Huddersfield. League 1. And we had 3 of our players in the 3 teams that were going to be relegated into League 1. So we had Erno Mota. We had Galloway. And we had Nakamba. So now, are we not going to use, so all of a sudden, are we going to drop these players from the national team because their teams have been relegated into League 1? Because what 1 or 2 can do, are we going to relegate the players? That's why I do not kupa idea you understand kuti niso you and I can try kumpa all the benefits of those.
But as far as you say that, I don't think he doesn't know, because I remember him in his very first interviews. He alluded to the quality of our Premiership as compared to the quality of some European teams. So I don't think that question he was answering at his own mind. He was answering so that he can make his bosses happy. I think he knows he was born in Germany. He knows the structures. He knows the infrastructure needed to bring up a competitive league and technically good players. So if you check our Division 1, if you see the fields that they are playing in, dusty fields, potato fields, you can't compare that to England. And in his right mind, he couldn't have done that.
Problem ilipo, I understand you, but problem ilipo ndeyekuti when we ask him questions, he can't answer me answering for his bosses because ndikubvunza iye question. So kana achinipindura that is where the whole problem, like Ray has said, this proves everything that Ray is saying. There is a big problem. From the onset, nothing changed as far as Zimbabwean football is concerned. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
You're
right.
So,
like, yeah.
When Mushi said, you understand, Bora no coach wa moon. He explained to Zimbabwe with traitors, Tuesday we come, manual, Wednesday, whatever drills, and then Thursday, motamba, FX, Friday, team in to camp. You see, this becomes your routine. And when you go to a different setup, you see, that's when you realize, this is where I am right now. Because Wagata say, Wagato Sara. That when I first got to Caps, from Glenview 1, my brother used to play for Chairmans. Achitambira Hotspace, atambira Mwaera, before he went to Zesa Wange. But see, every time my father would watch, my father talk about mom's wangu is from Plumtree. She was Highlanders. Darang was Zimbabwe Saints. So now we are divided. They were Saints, they were Highlanders. So, and then, Chitaura, even European, my father would tell me, my father, I go to Glenn Hoddle. My father talk about Glenn Hoddle a lot. And my brother said, no, but Chris Ward, because you are also a left footer. So what I started doing was when TV became TV, when you got access to TV, because my brothers, they trained outside the country. My first sire, the way they play, you see, that's when you start realizing these guys manipulate space. European football, they're taught to manipulate space. From an early age, you manipulate space. How time go to number 7, you stick wing. No, you manipulate space. You come in, you drift out, you switch. These are the basics they're teaching kids. Somebody you might think, but no, something is being ingrained in their brains at that very moment. When I went to Cape,
is that not the reason why we had a foreign coach in the first place?
Well, I don't know. When I went to Cape Dashika, I stayed for I think the first 2 months because I don't know, Friday period, I don't know. The only chance came when one guy did not come, but I went for 11v11. So we need the players, but we first we. Do you know my first touch, I tried to dribble Munu. For no reason, I just tried to dribble Munu. Do you know who corrected me?
Yeah.
Blatonica.
Yeah.
Why? You see, he didn't, he asked me 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, why, man? Because, no. Why did you want to dribble Munu? Let me tell you something. Stick to that. That's what you do. See things, pass the ball, and make the best decision. And when you do that, you need to support. Do you know, since those words, since he said those words, because I just remember him saying, do what is simple at that particular moment, give the person a better position. And then you have a coach, I know the simple question, your Rutasa League is your core, it's some guys who contribute to your core of your team. You're talking about 1 or 2. It just speaks volumes about mindset yake as a coach. You know what mindset a coach paper. You can have my paper, but which charge up water. And I think, I don't know, Mush, you need to help me here. I think
That's why Gonzi, just because you were one of the best players doesn't make you a good manager, a good coach, because football is much more than that. If football was about players, then Mourinho wouldn't have been successful here. The football is about you, taking the time to understand a genetic on the pitch and try to see things that people don't see. That normal, I can watch a football game with someone here, and we're watching the same game, but we're probably watching different things. I could be
Mm-hmm.
Questions, supposedly pedigree, Yangena coach wedi. Is it a outside influence? Is it outside pressure? Irumukoza utichi aitezo. So mangoma decisions you can question, which it may be ane pressure yana yokunze, but kune mamwe aunoza kuti iyi guy, it's on him. Because once we cross up a line, baby, I set on
They are
11.
now yours.
Awuzoudzwa kunzi usa substitute Mave for 80 minutes
Exactly.
because not atambe chi 80. That's your call. That's
Yeah.
your call. Before usazisa masub,
Hated.
ukana sama sub after 80 minutes. Yeah, that's your call. So those things are on him, and that questions you would say, what's his thinking? Because in I think let's just say kuti I'm a coach and I'm captured and didn't do push kwa kana neva kurwe team kana dichi
Coaches Association.
but there's a balance that should be there.
Yeah.
I did it. So now, if he's not making those changes, we can't then blame vanhu vari kumuwisa pressure veve because it's him who failing to understand what this game needs. This game, nasi game ranhasi tatamba iri 1-0 already. Tatakatodyiwa 1-0 because 0-0 was not enough. Yeah. So from the first minute, if we don't win this game, we're going home. So he knew that. So even after 20 minutes, especially when you're not playing well, you start asking yourself questions at the beginning of the second half because
We need to change.
we can't afford to wait until 15 minutes before time or 10 minutes before time. And he did that because it's on him. And so many things, Ranita, and bear in mind, from how I look at it, yes, sometimes as coaches, as managers, we can be lucky. Sometimes we bring our own luck, but sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Then yeah.
You win.
Yeah, the
Did
draw
draw.
versus Nigeria when he brought on
And did we draw?
Chirewa.
But anyone who's looking at it, kazhinji kana vanhu vebhora because ndozvo zvako in pane mamwe magame so ekuti ndiri paline paipa ndoita imwe decision but ndongoti mheno, you know what, but ngatikutraya zvese handiti
Yeah.
tikawina zvinonzi musha
He made the
akapendako mana
change.
hey mamuona ndikinaita but inini musoro mavo ndikuziva kuti ka pamwe nhachitodhau yeah. Handiti saka the point iripo manager uyu there is too many things within himself and also from a collective national team yachona which are dubious, which makes me question a lot of things. Zokuti, is this the right road we're taking? I really hope we start getting things right because at the moment, with the way the platform iripo yachona for players and all, it's not looking good because for starters, imagine chiri important chana ndisandakangana chana chidotaura munomu hakusi ndinechishora maplayers and ndinoziva bhora kuzimbabwe ndoenda Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Watch these players play.
Yeah.
League 2 kwese ndinoenda bhora inini Premier League, national teams zvese ndinoenda. And I know that there's two different things here. One, like you were talking about Jalai and it. Vapana, you'll be a very good player. You're always going to have exceptions. But have you asked yourself why teams like Nigeria and all that run but 25-man squad when gonna one local player, kind of two at most? Do you know why? Because munomu, my European countries, you are taught how to play in a team.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe, we understand how to play mostly as an individual.
Individually.
So you worry more about your game. So ugona like let's give an example like a mistake yongo chitora ye goal here. Yes, scanning. Andite. Kwandiri nini ndogono chitarisa ndakakoshwa munomga. That's a very basic thing. Chekuti kana bhora pari
Who's coming?
Yes.
tactically Msoro Magwe should be ingrained. It should be second nature in you to be in that position. Straight by them boys will go on actually starting position. striker.
Of the play.
Saka, the reason why team mazhinji achiusa European-based players is because these players understand how to play in a system. I'll give you a very good example. I've had so many players vabva kuZimbabwe vachitamba Premier League muZimbabwe, vanotambira team Zimbabwe UK right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why? Because Afana wanoza kutamba in a system, how to play for each other individuals. I've even gone to the extent yekuti I've taken my players akabva kuZimbabwe ndichiva vamwe vanokwanisa kuwana ma-international clearance vakatamba kumateam andakocha inini handiti uchiona kuti kuri kuteam Zimbabwe anenge achitonzi mufana yakaipa but aka kuteam kwangu dzimwe ngonotonyara kuti player yedu Zimbabwe vachingotamba basic ro vasingambosuka vasingaite seika. They know where to be on the ball, they know what to do on the ball, they know the right ways to prepare for the game and how to prepare and how to sort of look after themselves even after the game and all those things. So these kids know what to eat. Even step 5, step 6 football here, and past and avoid my fees and all that before the game, because I understand this is why I say Zimbabwe is in position right now you can make use of players. These young men have been exposed from under 8. You guys under 8 contract under 9. They're not stupid. They do this thing with that panosvika 10, 11, 12. Everything professional is become second nature. Second nature. Simple. Second nature. Sometimes people don't really understand the importance of my words. Second nature. Right now, ukauya munomka unogona kuona noti even I ended up playing retired, but I was registered as a player. Step 6 at 48. I played 10 games mu league because I was fit, because I didn't change how I look after myself, how I train, and all that. But the most important thing is that brain you understand. Because I understand that sometimes you can even see what someone is going to, an opposition is going to do before they even do
in advance.
Saka ndo second nature painopinda ipapo pekuti kuZimbabwe maplayers edu mazhinji atinowanza munational team muka vanogona kuve vane the right skill and all that, but hava understand bhora enough to play mu national team as a unit. We've got a lot of young players vari kutamba not just mu UK, everywhere else. Vafanira vanodzidziswa bhora from a young age and the resources are there. Haisi mhosva kuti vanhu vapfanira vedu kuZimbabwe havana ma-resources. It's just an unfortunate thing.
It's the situation.
Choose my players, the right players. Right now, to choose Ana Mave, Nana Msona. You're telling me that out of the pool yes yet now, Zimbabwean players, those are the best two that we could have today.
No, we can't say that. And thinking of the goal that we conceded, if you had seen, I think in the first half we conceded more than 8 crosses from the wide. And I thought second half the coach would do something about that, because it was crosses and crosses and crosses and last ditch by either Ruby or one of the CBs. What was happening there?
Do you know? I'll give you what causes that. If you watch Man City when he plays a team like Tottenham, you sangana Man City and Tottenham wins 4-1. You see, ukamaka space. Munhu ari kumakira space here. Benin was coming after a goal. Cross out. There's a guy angachia ku right wing kuna Divine. Divine was being caught in between, next to the box, and this guy in space. It was happening. They were not closing that gap to stop the guys from crossing the balls. It was a secondary problem. Primary problem was Bora. Dealing shake team share, because closing those gaps, you want to cut off the supply, and as we cut off the supply, you need to mark the men. Now, these guys are not trained to space. Right, say You need to mark the men, mark a border. There's time to mark the space. My concept say border, like Mushi is saying, we need to develop border more than what we think we do. This is why I was also calling for ZIFA positions. That's why I was hoping kuti junior vana vanotanga you catch them young unotanga vakadai so unotanga turi tudiki so handiti unotanga turi tudiki so anonzani sipas used to show my clips emwana wake acj achiita madrills vari kutraining aingotora like maybe 15-30 seconds vaita madrills vofunga kuti you starting with okay he's being taught drills at this age but the time 2 years later zvinenge zvatonatural handiti. And if you go, it's for example, here in Australia, soccer is not a really big thing, but you can tell the difference between Afana and Baku Sydney. Nekwatino kuno, you know, Afana and Baku Sydney, I know it's all the border on the ta, and you're always on the move, ta 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 ta. But Munom, they're taught kuti it's all about. I know was what team in Jindo Tampa place. Probably coach baba wake or shamara baba wake. Muneka has no reason to improve. Understand? Because by the time you're not the same level, ne munhu yabva kusini wewe. Hakunyaso expose manje but awugoni. The next thing I say, I don't talk tika munhu and urumtsikire he's just better than you. Why? Because he's taught better than you. We need to go back to grassroots. And that's why
you're very quiet today.
Sorry, just one more point before I go. You know, I was hoping you'd bring in Walter Msanuringa. I'll tell you why. Walter, I follow, I've been following Judge, what. I know Trafford Adiki, so I don't know. He took these kids to Old Trafford. He took these kids to Spain. And do you know what he said when he took them there? I want to make them dream. You see, Tora Mwana, Arputera Bora, who trains 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. That this is Old Trafford. When you say you want to make the kid dream, all you're simply doing is motivating that kid. You can come and play here. I teach the kids the basics. Once you capture them like that, once one part that incentive, I can play there. I saw it. I want to play there. Start teaching them. You need grassroots level. This is where you bring in Anamushi, all these guys to teach these youngsters. By the time they get to under 15, kunzi uyo atotasiwa zachana. But you like the simple basic you need to scan your blind side. You look, watch the ball, scan your blind side. And then you blame it as the ball was too high. Guys, thanks for the chat. I need to go.
What do we expect?
5 a.m.
All right, you need to rest.
Thanks for the chat.
All right, see ya.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care.
Yeah, same too. Get well soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, I was going to answer you, but you can start actually. Because I know But,
no, you can answer the question that I asked.
Right, if you want to mark space, sometimes people I don't know whether people do things actually understanding why they're doing what they're doing. If you're marking space, is because you have respect for the opposition that you have, and you know that marking them on a touch-to-tie basis, they'll probably go through you. So the only way that you're looking at marking these people, while using that space, giving them space, is naturally as a team, collectively, you go deep. You go deep, and you go like this is where, like you hear in football, 2 banks of 4 in 2 and whatever, or you've got 5-4-1, a line, but you all fall into your half. Yeah. So you're saying, the only space that we're going to give you is space that is in front of us. You're in front of us. So no matter how much you shift the ball from one end to the other, as long as we can see you, we're looking at you, we're okay with that. The only time that's going to matter is when you try to penetrate us. And because we are not literally marking maybe your 4 or 5 players who are playing there, we're just marking the players who are stood with us, who like the forward players,
in the danger
so
area.
now it's almost like we're saying, okay, we're going to sit here, come at us, try to break us, And now the problem is when a team like Zimbabwe plays the way that we played, it was almost like we were doing the same thing, but we had players who were high up, because what was happening is that we were not compact, and by not being compact, so we're trying to press a team with players, one who some of them are not fit, like
Yeah.
The captain wasn't fit at all. You could clearly see. And also, you're playing with makeshift midfielders. Because no disrespect, Msona is not a midfielder. He's not a midfielder. You know,
Not a
like
central
you can't tell me
midfielder
that.
at all.
You know, there's a natural instinct that comes with a natural midfielder that you don't have.
Yeah.
And same as, you know, you're pulling in Zemura in there as well. Zemura naturally is a wide man. Yeah. But we know you can do a job. Doing a job and being an expert at that are two different things. Yeah. So you have players who, now and again, they're going to go to sleep. And they're playing with midfielders who are clever. You know, sometimes, like as a midfielder, I can see that you're there, you touch tight with me. I'm walking because I'm looking at you to try to see if you are late. And bang, straight on, I'm gone. And I receive the ball. By the time you react, even if it's a second later, too late. Yeah. So now the reason why they kept on putting the balls in there is because when we had possession, we wanted to keep the ball by being too compact because Zemura was next to Chirewa was next. So they're playing that close, and then Tino comes in there.
Yeah.
And Maswani is on the other side.
Yeah.
Once we lose that ball, Benin knew that at the moment that they win the ball, they could just hit the ball there even without looking. They know that their fullback has got all the ground to cover in there. So what was happening now? Their fullback starts attacking. By the time our player comes out wide to go to the left, this player is in motion. He's already facing goalwards, so he can simply do a 1-2 and you're not going to catch him, even if you're quick, because you've got your back to goal and he is facing where he's facing your goal and you've got the back to it. So the other thing as well is not only that, our left back was being forced as well to come inside and almost like make it a third centre back. So then that means if the fullback is coming all the way there, there's no one to mark him. But if someone picks him, then that means whoever is supposed to be the wide man has now been dragged all the way to left back. So when we win the ball, is he able to get back into that position where we need him in a forward, thinking space? No, he's not, because once you make that run there, there's players who are good at up and down, and there's players who, if they go down, they need a minute to rest or to take a breather and then go all the way up. And then when they go up again, it might take them a few seconds for them to come back down again. Yeah. Because there's only so many few players who can actually do, the Roberto Carlos. We used to call it the Roberto Carlos way, up and down, the Cafu way of doing things.
Up and down.
Yeah, so we were forcing our wide men, whoever was on the left, because to be honest, there was no one on the left side. It was whoever ends up being there will be there. And then we had Maswani say, they were all being forced, through the problems that we're facing in the center of the pitch. They were being forced to go all the way deep. And when they go deep, they don't have the energy now. Even if they have the energy, the problem is Maswani said no matter how skillful he is, he's not going to run with the ball from back to front all the time. Because these teams, they know how to pivot. They were just pivoting into that space. All of a sudden, he's got 3-4 bodies around him. Where is he going? The only pass he has probably is to give the ball back to the right back. So we were not really coming out. And because the biggest problem now is when you're being forced to stay deep, you then need a big man as a target man
who can hold it.
That's the only way you're going to come out there, because when you have the big man now, you put it onto his chest area and below, he's going to wrestle with the centre half.
If they touch him, he falls.
Or they'll end up fouling him, or they won't get anywhere near the ball because he's pushing them and all that. That allows our midfielders to come and support him. But now we have midfielders who are being forced to go that deep and they're using a lot of energy trying to defend there. How much time are they going to take to come and support our striker?
And it's such a shame because I think Maswanise got the ball in the right areas about 2 or 3 times. And those 3 times
we
had shots at goal.
I remember
those
one
3 times where he got the ball in the right area, we had shots at goal. But all the other times he was getting it right back area.
So that's why I told you that sometimes as well size does matter in football. Not all the players, but if you're going to play the way that we're trying to play, you have to have someone who can hold the ball up for you. Unfortunately, with Tino, as much as I like Tino, the problem is he's not the biggest guy. Yeah, he works hard, but
Works very hard.
he works very hard, but he's not really going to keep it. He might get a few fouls here and there, but the problem with defenders is just nudging you a little bit. It puts you off balance, and many a times he doesn't have the ball cleanly.
Yeah, and I think he grew frustrated because he ended up going back.
And
so we ended up not having anyone.
Yeah.
No out ball.
Because that's what you get, when, especially as well as striker. This is where the difference with real strikers and strikers who love, maybe a number 9.5 or the 10s, who are playing as strikers. Because once upon a time, when you read proper number 9s, even if they spend 50 minutes without the ball, they will be okay. They won't come. They will stay there because they would know that one chance will come and I'll take, and I'll take it. But now you have players, on all those players who were there. Tino was going deep. Aswanis was going deep. Zemuro was going deep.
Chideo was
going deep. So literally all of them, there was no one who wants to go 5 minutes without receiving the ball. So that's where you have to have a player who doesn't play for himself but plays for the team.
I think on the last video we discussed the striking options, and in our lineup we thought it would be best to have maybe Thando Ngwenya. He's been in good scoring form in South Africa.
Yeah.
Even when he left the Zim League, he was scoring.
Yeah.
He's going to South Africa, he was scoring, and we know that he is a striker. And we can have anyone else behind him, but you need the proper number 9 there.
Number 9
yeah. For outlet.
That's why ndakasuggesta Ngirigiri anonzi Thando. I know, yes, anonzi haana experience, and then vanenge compare my names the other guys who can play in that position as compared to him. Here he's still upcoming, and then there are guys who are settled. So those I remember pandambobvunza mugroup ndakati, okay, this is interesting kuti Tino ndiye ari kutamba 9. I thought Tino actually was going to play as a second strike. Then anga achidzika he has the freedom yekudzokera chinobatsira midfield, but at least kune kwasara munhu number 9 anenge ariko kuti tikawina bhora, if we win the ball we can launch it to him, or even uyanga ari wide anonzi Tawanda
Maswanis.
We can launch it to him. Then ane munhu wekupa. It's different. You launch it kuna number 7 where he receives the ball, but hapana munhu ari pasenda
support
anoita enaro, which means he has to dribble all his way to the center kuti aone create a shooting chance or wait for other guys.
International football, you don't get that time.
Exactly. Ndosaka takasuggesta Ngirigiri mfana waya kuti maybe he can.
Do you know
that?
Sorry, go on.
Okay, no. Then I thought kuti knowledge would experience yake could play that position as a 9. Danga iswa ipapo, then Tino ari behind him. But then kwakuchitisa sei kwakuchisiya gap pamid kuti anozotamba pamid ndiani. Ndopasaka taita either Rushesha, then that young man akaita drop out anonzi Fusire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he could have played there. I'm not sure what he number 8 or 6, but Paidai another midfielder. I remember when we spoke about it, Taura Nyaya Fabish, perhaps Fabish anogona kutamba ipapo just to do a job there, because Papa sina an obvious choice yekutora unless uri kuenda kune vafana these young boys. And for me, there's nothing wrong giving those boys a chance.
There's nothing to lose
because
anyway now.
Tapana kamrupa a chance for 2 years. But our vafana vari kutamba bhora every time. Pep made that same mistake last year. Yekuti vafana pabench vanogona kupinda achichinja game, like mfana uyawe akagara achimuholder for too long, but yet that boy was the solution to the team.
Yeah.
Pakazongoita brave enough kuti okay, go on, and then mfana he bailed him out.
Yeah, I think I wanted to catch on your point, Taura, about the starting 11. That starting 11 shouldn't have started like that. But however, if I had to start with that starting 11, for me, I'll be looking at focal points. The focal points there is what makes us solid with what we have. What makes us solid? And one point that you've already made is what makes us solid is if we are going to struggle from a defensive point of view and we're going to be pegged back a lot of times, I'm going to have Msona play and deal with the center halves there. He is playing as a central striker. He deals with their center backs because he's the one who he's got power, he's got technique as well. So I would trust Msona over anyone who studied in that team to play as a central striker. Yeah, but I haven't shortchanged the defensive midfield because I'll tell you why. Okay, I've decided to play Nakamba, even though for me I would never do that. But let's just say he's there. He's playing. The way I look at it is I would say, Nakamba, your job today is not to go be all over the place. Don't even try to be the one who's dictating the play or whatever. I want you to think defensively today. By saying I want you to think defensively, I don't want you to get too involved with the forward playing that we have. I want you to be thinking of the very next danger that we're facing as soon as we lose the ball. Stay as central.
Stopping attacks.
Stay as central as you can. So by doing that now, this is where you could have had Chirewa go out wide.
Yeah.
Chirewa go out
and
wide.
Stay there.
To the left and stay there. Aswani say, stay out wide. So already you've got two players who's got the skill and pace
and the
to
speed.
make sure that the right back and fullback, all the fullbacks are dealt with. Yeah. They're not going to gamble too much because they know we will hit them if we win the ball and they're bombing forward too much. Then that will leave the three now. So Tino would be the one who's playing off the striker, but we're playing him in at 10. So technically, we've got three midfielders in there. We're saying, okay, Tino, once we win the ball, we want you to try to get as close to Musona as possible. But once we lose the ball, you know that in a three-man midfield, you're not going to be chasing the ball. But the moment that we lose the ball, just make sure that you sit on their defensive midfielder. Then that leaves now. So we already dealt with their defensive midfielder. The other two midfielders, it's Nakamba and Zemura. Zemura, you can gamble. Zemura is one player you can tell that today we don't want you to play how you normally play there. We want you to stay in there and be disciplined. But you're playing with Nakamba, but you're the one who's got the energy. You're the one who's going to be
can go up and down.
Up and
box
down.
To box.
Hustle and all that, with everyone. But Nakamba, you're not going anywhere because you're not fit anyway. Nakamba, you sit there. So technically, we could end up having Nakamba sitting and you have Zemura and Tino interchanging. That would work because now, if we are under the coach, you know that we've got good license there with Musona, who's going to try to keep the ball for us there. He's going to at least help us to be able, when we launch the ball, we know that he's going to take 2-3 seconds with the ball. They're going to foul him, and it gives us a chance to breathe and push to the halfway line.
Yeah, that's right. So with the coming in,
well,
yeah,
go ahead. Okay, I was saying the pandakanzwa kuti anonzani Fabish had pulled out, then Fusire had pulled out, which means the squad maybe had lost two midfielders. Players. My replacement actually, one of them was a striker. That was a very odd decision. And my Chopakayaga replacer, one of those guys, but he plays up front. So which means Pani Munas now replace Wab. But I thought, okay, it's going to be interesting what the teacher Tamba say. But I thought the way we were going to set up, considering the situation, the squad, how insufficient it was, we're going to play three at the back. So he was going, maybe if you select Ananzani, the two Vatambanas, Adeben and Gergerin na Munashe, then na Galloway, Watamba 3. Then I'm not sure about Jalai playing as a wing back, but probably Antonio could play that as a wing back. Tamba Lunga, obviously, we know he can do that job.
Yeah.
Then Pampa midfield up about.
Yeah, he was on the PDM. Yeah.
Kanomagasa Nakamba, another Takwara na Nakamba, very true. Then Uyo Chenda.
Yeah, there's a platform.
Yeah. It's the
squad.
Some of the decisions, it just baffles you because you're thinking that surely you had days to think about this, and this is the best, that you came up with. It's just weird. That's why I don't blame when people talk about the capture and that there's too many things going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't
baffling.
surprise me because some of the decisions that happen, with this national team, it's just ridiculous. It's like even when you look at this issue, with how he was dropped, from the side because as we upgrade and all that. That's an issue that could have been handled, without even people knowing what the chicha itiga.
Yeah.
Without the
But
drama around
because there's this it's the norm ku Zimbabwe, even vamwana unongozwa vachikoti hanzi angaita kunyengererwa here ngabve haana kana basa, but you don't understand that you're dealing with professionals. These young men
He's a professional.
watching them coming to actually play for Zimbabwe, for me, it makes me proud because I've seen Vafana Munom and I've seen how much they actually like to be, Vafana Munom, they're so proud of where they come from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, they actually want to.
Grounds zekuti it's almost like tinovatarisa sevasiri as Zimbabwean as we are.
Yeah.
Which is very
that
wrong.
Sean Fusere situation
Which is
was
very wrong.
very unfortunate.
Inini ndakakwara. It's very true with the clubs protect him because he's insured.
Yeah.
The club has to insure him. And there's nothing wrong with that. Kana ZIFA isina mari. You know what? This time hatina mari. Satikwanisa kuita izvozvo. Saka kana usiri kwanisa kuzvitenga tongoti wakaita sei wakakwa. And next
they
time
will just do that.
next time.
I was telling someone.
Uzvokuda and then makuzoburitswa kunzi muritori nemari dzamunadzo dzaitoti use my money.
And he actually offered.
Even worse.
He offered that pamari yangu please.
Then don't give it back.
Ndakutozvibhadharira tiketi, ndakuzviwedzera mari yetiketi.
Yeah, it's very sad. I think it goes back again to the issue that you were talking about, that most of our local people do not understand how big the football industry is and what it takes to succeed in a country like England or in the UK. So something like that, I was telling someone on Facebook that Sean Fusire, you are just regarding him as Sean Fusire, but according to Sheffield Wednesday, it's a multi-million-dollar company. It's a multi-million-dollar club.
Yes.
And Sean Fusire is a multi-million-dollar club. So he's a multi-million-dollar asset. So you are just looking at him as Sean Fusire. But the club...
Enda ku Sheffield. Enda ku Sheffield, paunoona kuti izvo is larger than life.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Big deal.
Multi-million-dollar asset. So multi-million-dollar asset is asking for 1,000-something ticket. And you have to understand.
Because he wants to represent his country.
Exactly.
So many players have chosen. So many players have regarded. Vaona teams akainongo Zimbabwe kuti we've got nothing to tambura kanochi. Mama players angodzoda no, I won't play international football. Playing for Zimbabwe I know that I won't play for England, but I won't play for Zimbabwe.
Yeah. And
But they're choosing to go for that flight. You should give them their dues. You should give them credit. Zimbabweans, especially Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe, I've seen it, and I'm not even saying it because in Ndudagwi a gap between us, because I actually like bridging gaps.
Yeah.
Far too many people Zimbabwe, they're so misguided or so misled about these young men because vanongofunga kuti vese tivafana tikangotadza kutamba uku saka vakuda kungoya muno makutivhiringira. No, those kids love playing for our country because they are Zimbabwean. My son akazvarwa kuZimbabwe and he came here ane 2 achitotena 3. He loves his country like mad. Anita 2 years Zimbabwe. And he prides himself with Zimbabwe. My daughter, akazvarwa munomu, she's 18. She associates herself more with Zimbabwe than UK.
Yeah.
Proud. Saka now, if people ended up understanding that, vana vedu ava varuda kuyozotitambira ava, vana vedu hatisi kurepresentwa nevarungu.
And it's not mwana wekure kure, mwana
Yeah. And that would help if people, understand that. And I see more so as well, like zvataura, I see more so vakazvarirwawo kana kuti vakakurira munyika yekuti ma-resources
Have better
arimo,
opportunity.
yekuti vano understand that. They understand the game more than players in Zimbabwe. That's a fact. You can't hide away from it. And then ndaita bias.
Legend, you get us cancelled. You are getting us cancelled.
Hey, because I should be defending us. Anditi,
Yeah.
unataura kuti hapana zvamuri kutaura zvakangofanana takatoipa ma-resources chete asipo kana kuti chii. I learned so much in football after I left Zimbabwe.
In conference
I
league.
left Zimbabwe in 26 years. I'm 49 now. In 23 years, I learned 10 times more in terms of football, everything about football, from the tactics, from understanding play, mukutamba muri 11, from training, from the foods, from resources, from everything. I understood 10 times more. And I'm not, and you know what? Andina pride yekunyara kutaura izvo.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So technically, you had
Technically,
technical.
we were sound.
Is the best tactically. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you remember,
That one I remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Seen it kuchikwesh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
But that's because to understand a game redu taka understand from a skill perspective rather than to understand from a tactical, tactical way.
Okay. So anyway, so next game in South Africa, Mnatu will be back. So what do you think? What role do you think you will play at Wolves? I don't know if the coach knows which position he should play, because at Wolves you will see him playing right wing sometimes. Sometimes he's next to the striker. So what do you think needs to do for us to? Now we are just playing for pride, maybe, and to prepare for AFCON. So where does Mnetsi go?
And I think kuti in iri next game hatisina chekuluza ngatichiisa vapfana vatoona kuti what can they do. Tautongoshandisa sepreparation.
Yeah. Do we have any other international
if
break
this situation
before AFCON? Do we have another international break before
Yes, in
AFCON?
October.
Okay.
Yeah, we have another international break in October.
Because Nees will also be thinking that he needs to set a first 11 for AFCON, so he may not want to play the youngsters.
Okay.
And to be honest, as much as I will agree with that statement, but knowing him, I don't think he would do it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he would do it, but this was an ideal opportunity.
Yeah.
Try them on. Should this same situation arise, you know what, I can trust him in this game. Yes, in other games it's just a bench, but let them show you what they are capable of. There's no point. We had that same issue now.
Keeper.
Tavazio.
Yeah.
What's the point?
So you have to know, Guti, and this is real, Guti. Sometimes I know you have to prove we're wrong,
Yeah.
Sometimes
exactly.
So you can continue.
Pressure yaiswa nevanhu kai ndikazomutambisa tinobva avhaya obva aratidza kuti akapinga kupfuura vanhu vese
ambenge achiite pabench.
So there's a human element to a coach.
Yeah.
It's fair, but iye ari kufunga achizviprotecta iye, which is not okay, because those unonzi anogona kuita stubborn and get away with whatever he's doing as long as he's winning.
Yeah.
That's where the problem becomes. And
so I need to.
I'm disappointed with this coach, because I thought, okay, this is it. Let's start again. Let's start afresh. And this ZIFA, I'm sure, which is a border. I've always said, I've always said,
exactly.
they're running the association well. Saka now they've got my changes, but it seems like
now we have
actually
just
10, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Can I put you two on the spot so that we create a lineup for the next game? So can we say goalkeeper Arubi? Of course, I don't think he's going to change that. Do you?
Okay, before we answer you from his perspective,
What we want, but I think we also think along. Yeah, what we want to see in the next game.
Okay. If it was me, Arubi does not play the next game.
Really? Okay.
We already know what he can do. We already know he's the number one.
Okay. Yeah, I get
When
you.
it comes to AFCON, he will be the number one.
Yeah.
We already know.
Okay.
What else do you want him to show you?
There's nothing that's going to help us know.
We are not going to learn
what we know already.
So you would have Chipese or Mapisa? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Chipese.
If
right
I'm
back.
being honest on that, yeah, maybe to kind of. If I'm being honest on that, it's unfortunate to say. Mali. I wanted him to play in this sort of setup because I always say, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
If you're calling a player Chikwirandege win whatever 6 times, like give him a game. Jigiwa is rachona kana friendly game yachona ega. Ubwaza oti aiwa. Actually liku ya afane kudzoka.
He can't play.
I did it. Because like right now what he did, I guess I was in position but he's a Brentford B goalkeeper. Brentford is a big team, even though it's a big B team. But could I take keeper with B team here, Brentford? That means there's something about him.
Yeah, there's a talent.
No one knows what he can actually do for Zimbabwe. How do you know? Maybe he was actually going to be that number one with Zimbabwe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember that debate I asked Nini Utichi, why are you saying number one is protected? He's my number one. I'm not changing. I didn't. That was his answer.
Yeah.
And Arubi is my number one. He does not change. What if something happens to Arubi? How do we know who is our next best keeper?
Yeah. What if Arubi starts being an Onana?
Yeah, exactly. Twitter
he has a tendency to do that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mapisa then uchipezeze South Africa. But here I think ndakatoshamisika pandakaona zita rachipezeze riri musquad because he had sworn.
Yeah, but that's very bizarre.
Alpha kunani. Iwewe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The only problem I would have with Chipese is the height in terms of international football. I think we've had problems with keepers like Donovan. He was bullied because of height and physique. Chipese is almost the same build, so they'll just put crosses in it.
Yeah,
That's my concern.
and I understand that because African football, sometimes when it comes down to it, teams are just going to put in the crosses and flying at the goalkeeper. And my keeper Mazano, they're not the same as my keeper. My keeper Kudala, you would never go anywhere near goal.
Never.
He just wouldn't do it. Yeah.
Okay, so you have set Chipese for next game. Right back.
I would put Bill Antonio.
Right back. Okay. It was in a 3-4 something formation as a wing back.
As a wing back, not as a full back.
Right back. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know defensively how you would manage, but you would be a very attacking right back.
If I'm being honest, on some of the players, I've seen them, but I've not seen them enough. And the reason being, there's a time that I fell out of love with our game, with Zimbabwean football, and I just wouldn't bother. So I think by time yoga, I missed out on some things, that's been happening, regarding players. And I've only just sort of in the last year or so, started sort of getting back into it. Otherwise, in the past stage, I wouldn't watch. I wouldn't even bother watching.
You didn't know.
Zimbabwe. And
Wow.
I just didn't want to know. So now I think I would say I'm still learning. I'm still learning as far as, the alternates, what to the players who are there. But, like with the players that I've seen, some of them, they've excited me, and some of them, I don't think they're up to scratch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say, right back, I can't even remember who I've seen.
We have Jalai, we have
Morwira. Yeah. Morwira, if I remember right, Morwira came across like a bit too busy for me. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if...
Yeah, he's not a right back by trade. Originally, when he was good Dimbare, when he came up, he was more of a box-to-box midfielder.
More football, yeah.
Yeah, then you went back to
because what you
CB.
get with Jalai as well, the difference is that he might be small, but he is composed, and that boy, if he had height, with the way that he's mobile, if he had height, you probably, you wouldn't even question anything about him. You would just be there. It's Jalai, that's it. But sometimes height plays a part because he's a right back who's not going to help you in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he gets targeted. But he did very well today. Some of the challenges that he made. Yeah.
But I thought as much as
you are never going to be on your top game every game. But Agarakidze, he has already proven himself.
Yeah. So we need
he's a capable right back.
Yeah.
Okay. Then CB's but I would want my right back to be very comfortable in position and able to overlap.
Yeah.
But
I think with what we want, I think I'll probably go with Jalai.
Todautaura kuti akakuvara
Panani.
Panani anogona kutamba ipapo ndo zvatakuda kutrya kutarisa.
Handiti?
We already know kuti God
give
him another one toona kuti how capable is he ariko. In that game yaakatamba as a right back, I actually liked it.
He was solid. Yeah, he's solid.
He was solid.
Yeah.
He did it. Of course, he lacks then pakuzoenda kumberi.
Yeah.
Maybe ingachitaurwa nacoach kuti up and down the Roberto Carlos way. Maybe izvo zvaazogona kuzozviita, but defensive duties anenge achiita. Saka alright, womisa ikoko woona kuti what can he do?
Happen?
Then pa center back, that gives you an opportunity to try different combinations again.
Galloway.
Brendan, like for example, atamba very few games.
If Galloway
with
was
national
in this game today, that goal would have gone in.
No.
Of course. But Ranga's not gonna go with it.
Because he doesn't just play for himself. He also, whenever he's playing, he also checking his pay, where he is and all the positioning and all.
There was space.
That's the difference, between some of these players, because the other CB is thinking, if I'm in the right position, he doesn't really think much about
I don't care about the other one. Yeah. Okay. Left back, Zemura.
Yeah. The reason why I would want Zemura there is Zemura sometimes is wasted when his starting position is forward. His starting position to be from the back. And what it helps as well is people sometimes don't understand the difference between receiving the ball with back to goal and receiving the ball when you're facing where you're going. When he's facing where he's going, he's much more effective at running at them. Sometimes he finds it difficult when he's being put under pressure because he's trying to control the ball in 10.
Yeah.
So I think Zemura, would go left back. Yeah.
Okay. Then
what's happened with Reno Motaso? Is it issue of not having a team or what?
The communication was that he was in the process of finalizing a club. That's the wording that came out. That he was in the process, for me, but I haven't seen any confirmed news.
Because I'll have Reno Mota and
Nets.
What about this game? We don't have Reno Mota. We have Nets, of course.
Yeah, we have
so we can be with Nets.
Ndopandaisa Rushesha nangerekere namunets.
Rushesha, Manetsi, but Rushesha is not there anyway.
Rushesha is there.
Rushesha. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no.
Tuonge.
Sorry,
Tuonge is there.
yeah.
Yeah. And we have never tried him, and I
So
think that boy
Rushesha
can do it.
and
Munetsi,
yeah.
double pivot.
And for me, I'll go 4-3-3. I wouldn't go,
We wouldn't go to Pagomba. Okay, so
I'll go with
be
those two, yeah. But it
yeah.
will be two, but they have an attacking midfielder in front of them. So
Okay, all right.
I
So
think
two then
I'll
per point patch.
I'm looking for, if I'm looking at that, for me, when we're playing that sort of formation, whoever is out there, I'm looking for pace and someone who I'm going to say, whenever you get the ball, I don't care if you lose the ball, you're going to take your man on and go down the line to the box to cross the ball. So that means, Maswani is definitely going to be one side, probably the right, yeah.
The wing.
And but now we've got to find out who can play in that 10. Chirewa.
Chirewa pick
To say
the
that
10.
who else? What's the alternative to Chirewa?
Number 10. Walter Msona.
Walter as well.
Nah, not for me.
Walter, he flatters to deceive, though. I've watched him so many times, and I just think now we need to give more confidence into the players who haven't got that many caps.
Yeah,
exactly.
In the squad.
I would love to see the young Padera play.
And for me, a game like this, like I said, I would want to go back to the basics that we were talking about, and Musona knowledge goes back up top, and because if knowledge goes back up top and Chirewa is playing as a number 10, it makes it easier because Chirewa can find a pass,
They link
and he's
up.
got two players there, with Rushesha and Munetsi, who are going to win the ball and they're going to play forward passes as well. And they can play not only forward passes to the number 10, but they can also thread the ball to the wide man.
Yeah.
So for me, that means Tino is going to be on the bench. I would need someone who's got pace on the other side.
Left wing.
On the left.
Who can run the left wing now?
Terrans are not going to tamba left-handed.
In the modern days, my left footers, they are usually played. Unless you say
you can put him on the right and Maswani say goes to the left.
Yeah, I think that can work.
Yeah.
That can work because these days 4-3-3 wingers they cut in. So yeah.
Do you know, I actually found it interesting, that sometimes people don't even don't know. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong with not knowing that, because, like I said, in football you learn all the time. The reason why, one of the major reasons why managers play a player who's left-footed, play them on the right, or a right-footed player on the left who plays on the left.
Yeah.
Because most of the players now who play in those positions are small.
Yeah.
And they're not strong into the, when with defenders coming in there.
Yeah.
So if you're playing, say you're playing Maswani, say, on the right, and he's right-footed, when he's receiving the ball, he receives the ball opening his body.
Yeah.
He can see where the ball is coming from.
Yeah.
He can see the left back as well.
Where he wants to.
But when he opens his body, the leg that he uses to control the ball is the right foot.
It's right foot.
The right foot is the closest leg to the defender.
To the defender.
Yeah. So if he don't have a good touch, the defender closes him down straight away.
Okay.
Now let's talk about, some players, small players you can think of. Ahmad Diallo, yeah?
Yeah.
Very rare that you see anyone taking the ball off him on his first touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? He plays on the right, yeah?
Yeah.
He still has to open his body to see where the ball is coming from and where the defender, the left back, is, yeah?
Yeah.
But where does he receive which leg does he receive the ball with? With his left foot, yeah?
With his left.
Where is his left foot? His whole body is in between the defender and the ball.
And
Okay.
So for the defender to get to the ball, they've got to go through his body.
He has to deal with.
But if it's Maswani, who's right-footed, for the defender to get to the ball, you don't have to go through his body. So now, with Ahmad, if he's on the left and you try to go through his body, as long as he's got a good touch, you go into his body, you haven't touched the ball, it's a foul. But if Ahmad was playing on the left and he's receiving with his left foot, the left foot is closer to the right back, you bump into him, he fails to control the ball, it's not a foul. Maswani says on the left side, he wins the ball, he controls with his right foot, you have to go through his body.
So that
And if you go through his body, you're fouling him because you haven't touched the ball.
Yeah.
You
the good thing with
the concept,
Maswani is, from what I've watched him, Kumalo, when he plays on the left, he scored very spectacular goals by either cutting inside. He's also able to go on the outside and cross with the left foot.
The thing now is that because what it allows as well is it allows you to be able to control the ball and start running inside with still you using your body as a shield and still manage to cross or to shoot. The biggest problem with that system of play now, the biggest problem is for strikers because strikers now don't get the service that they should be getting because you've got too many times that you cut inside and the goal is gaping there. You're going to more likely take a shot than try to cross an in-swing cross for a striker. Whereby, if we're using Maswani, say, on the right, and we're putting through balls to him, or he managed to control the ball, go past the defender, goes to the byline, straight away he's going to put it across. And it's a chance for it. It's a chance for a striker. But if it was a left foot, if it was Zemura there, he's going to come back to his normal foot. But this is where the difference now with players and the difficulty is that, in fact, some of the advantages that players have. I'll give you an example like when I was playing. You would be surprised that I played as a defensive midfielder for a long time. I played as an attacking midfielder for a long time. And I played as a striker, proper gunman. I was a 20, 30 goals a season striker.
Really?
Yeah. But I would score. But you know what? The amount of goals that I scored with my left foot, because I had a strong left foot, but that wasn't my strongest foot. It was my right. But because every time I always played slightly to the left. Whenever Mbama, Mbama Mbore.
Yeah.
I was very good at that, They're always thinking that I'm trying to find my stronger foot into the box, bang, with the left foot.
Bang with the left.
So now no advantage in Emuna no kwanza to use both legs because let's just say like Ahmad, if he had a good strong right foot, he can still dribble you and he doesn't have to come back inside because he can still go past you, but then he needs a right foot to hook that ball. But many a times, most of these players now, they're one-footed. That's the problem. That's the reason why they end up coming back to that leg. And when you're coming back to that leg, a striker is making a run into the box. The moment that you're coming back onto the striker has to slow down. And when they slow down, at the time when they were running, defenders many a times are facing goal. So that's the reason why, Zinonzi, if you whip it across, can a defender not go as a
go?
But the moment you're not to touch, you see Zoka, you have given the defender a chance to turn his body. Yeah, so he turns his body now, whether a face or cannot that off is a back to go. So now, an advantage, you crosser, you can block it and it goes back to you or it goes back. Whereby if you just run at defenders and go bang straight across, it's more dangerous there. So in football now, there's a lot of sacrifices. So now because teams want wingers to come inside and score goals, he said the detrimental of strikers was because strikers are not getting enough chances.
Surface.
If you see strikers now don't touch the ball more times than any other time now, striker chinzi kana anagokeresa uchiona chinzi atamba even anozani mfana Sesko kunzi 20 minutes ari maguma bora 3 times or whatever or 2 times. That's the difficulty with football nowadays.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been a long discussion. We haven't finished anything. I think if we keep on going, we'll go on till midnight.
Nah, you know what? There's so much, there's so much, we'll share. Like I said, I don't know it all. I'm learning. I'm a student. I always say I'm a football student, even though I have that many years of experience, in football. I started playing competitively when I was 16. So you're talking of 33 years, that I've really been involved in, from playing to coaching, managing. So I've learned a lot through there. And because Bwaranguragatangro Zimbabwe, my career comes from my Zimbabwe grounds, Division 2, Division 1 football, Premier League. Elliot or whatever, we've done all that. Then coming into UK, Tambo, like a good standard conference in Step and all that, Team Zimbabwe UK and whatever veterans, Munom and all that.
Yeah.
You come across all these things and like Munom de the system is one. Whether my veterans can competitive, they behave, they treat football the same. The only difference in the Siana and the ability was on Mwachembera Mwakura. You see, so there's one standard way of how players play and behave, whereby Zimbabwe is all over the place. Yeah. That's why even Muno Machona gonna like now I'm obviously with my injury that I have in the order, I'm someone who I'll be training, work hard with Ndite feet and all that. And that's when I'll go back into coaching. And when I go back into coaching, many a times I'll be registered in the team. You can find me at 50 or at 51. And I've played a few games. That's because mentality, actually, once you have it and you embrace it,
you've got it.
It's stuck in you. It's stuck in you. Saka, you find, even when people praise like stuff Benzo, I find that insulting, and I respect him as a guy who's putting money into the football. I would not watching it on whatever. You know what? Big up to him, credit for him. But it's insulting to think that someone like that would play football because
Benza, in the Premier League.
I look at it and think Benza in injury fit is nowhere near as fit as I am. No way. No way. Saka inini ndikatanga kuenda unonzi ndakutamba bhora kuPremier League yeZimbabwe, then that means I'm playing nema players eScotland. Then that means ndikutamba nema players anofana kutambira national team. That means ndikutamba nema players anofana kuNigeria nema players in Premier League.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
So what do we expect when we then go and face Benin, when we have Wotamsona who's been playing with Benza in the league? Yeah,
that's the thing.
We have Jalai who's been marking Benza
because if we think about to see how ridiculous it is right now. If I'm not injured and I go to Zimbabwe and I go Kunim.
I need to play. Register me.
Can you imagine people who know me from here, who've played with me, who have coached, who actually think, Coach Mushi vakutotamba na Nigeria. Imagine Coach Mushi vakutotamba nema players Premier League. Coach Mushi vakutotamba versus Cameroon against Mbume.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. That's how we are downgrading our football.
It's shocking. It's shocking. Yeah, but when we
and it's been a long time like that. I know even some of the players vandakatamba nawo chayoga vanosvotwa nazvo pandinotaura, but inini I'm a very principled man, and I say things not for the sake of it, but I say things ndichitarisa based on facts as well and things that I saw. And I always said, even time yatakazotamba Premier League, it was no longer the same. I enjoyed Premiership more when I was watching ndichiri mfana pane patakazotamba isusu. We were
going down.
As good.
Kare takaona bora.
Anti munhu anoti kare takaona bora if you are 20 but iwewe unozwa bora rauri kuona nawo ka. But remember kuti bora rauri kuona futi iroro. Handiti?
Yeah.
Then I know, but then I've got 30 more years of knowledge.
You have experienced both worlds.
So I've experienced both worlds. So who's in a better position to actually understand?
Yeah, it would be. They are comparing.
Sound. I'll listen to them. Even the I'll listen to them because there might be some truth. There might be something in them. Yeah. So it's never about who knows the most. Just because Mushaka Zotamba 30 years cannot Chisaka knows more. I'm always learning. My son will sit down there with me, and he's only 26 and ball above what I did. Did you see that? Okay. I never thought about that. Because we learn all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah. We need people who are willing to learn. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We know.
No problem.
Yeah. 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 Any last words? Anything burning before we go? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That was disappointing.
Tangu, sometimes we can't qualify chandisina because handiri qualify chandisina evidence nacho, even though maybe it's quite clear to see.
Yeah.
But I understand when people have question marks about that coach in terms of professionalism, in terms of his actual credentials, but from a tactical point of view, does he actually understand football as much as he makes out? And also, is he captured? Those are burning questions, and everything that he does makes me realize why people say those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we've spoken about the Zimbabwe defeat to Benin, and we're speaking about the lineup that we hope to see. We know we won't see it, so but we won't stop watching Zim because we love our country, but gives us heartbreaks and pain always. Yeah, we hope they sort it out. If Michael Nees, if you're not captured, please do something. Yeah, you can't play unfit players. You have to play fit players, and we hope for the best. Please subscribe and like and share the video and share your views and tell us what you think. Tell us what you want us to discuss about. Thanks, my legend Mushi, for being with us. Thanks, Al. And thanks for Ray, who's since left, for being with us. And next time. Till next time. Any predictions for the scoreline? Next one on against Rwanda. You're all scared.
I never do predictions. Never.
You don't predict.
Never. I never. I always just wish to win, but I never, if you ask me for any team and say, what do you think? When I hear people say 2-1 and 3-1, I'm thinking, oh, so you think they will score, but then they will concede again and all that.
A legend is not brave enough to give us
I'm not brave enough,
I'm going to be brave. We are going to win 1-0. Etandongwenya goal. He has to play. There's no excuse now. Yeah.
But you know what, guys? I've to be honest, I've enjoyed having a chat with you, and as I'm a football person, like proper football through and through, and it's always nice, when you come across lads, we've got the same mindset as well, and even though there is difficulties in our game, but it's worth talking about it. Sometimes we might not be able to do anything about it, but sometimes as well, you've got to think maybe what we say can bring about change somehow. You never know, because maybe it's here and times 1,000 other groups, and the managers see that and they realize that, what, it's not looking good. Or even if it's ZIFA, they're looking at that and thinking, what, we're being exposed here and all that. If they really care about the game, then they will change things, So it's good that we have these discussions. We shouldn't we probably, I could actually say I fell victim to it, where I ended up just not wanting to know anything about Zimbabwean football. But so learn from me, that, we don't have to run away from it. Let's tackle it head on. And no matter what it takes, we talk about it. It's our country. No matter who's playing, even if they plays 11 players, we don't want to start, but we'll still support them because it's our country. Yeah.
Still love our country.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Yeah.
See ya.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.